I know what you're thinking. There's not enough time in the day to do all my projects and work here and go and do this show, etc. So here are 3 steps to create more time in your day as a creative. Number 1 is mapping. You got to plan. You got to know what exactly is coming up and have an idea. I know we as creatives, we're fluid, we're spiritual, we're creative, we like spontaneity. But if you know what's actually going to happen over the next week or couple of months, then you can at least arrange your time around it. And you'll find that you actually might have more or less time than you actually thought. And at least then, once it's measured, you'll be able to do something about it. Number 2 is stacking. What are you doing right now which can be coupled with something else that needs to be done? If you keep going to the gym every morning to keep, your fitness in check, but you also need to read that book or learn about that idea, then why not do podcasts while you're in the gym? Put those 2 things together, right? Instead of having gym at one point of the day and then going to read the book at another point of the day. You could do this with anything. So for example, if you're putting out content, but you also have a show coming up, how can you document your process so that that can be your content? I'm already in the space going to be rehearsing with my group. I'm already going to be teaching that class. I'm already going to be doing that show. Have a camera there, stream it live. Have that as content, include your audience, ask them questions, and build your audience while doing the things you're already doing instead of going back and trying to find another time in the day to be able to do that same thing. And then number 3 is batching. Once you find yourself and you've planned your days and you realize there are certain tasks that are of similar kind, put them all together and say, for example, I need to do all my admin. Find a day where I can batch them all and get it all out for the month in one go, right? Batch it. Have it so that those things are grouped together. Those things might help as well. 1, because your energy is going to be staying in that same flow. One of the things that can happen is once you change task, it changes energy. Some activities might be using your mind, something might be using your physical body, right? Sometimes it's good to actually keep consistency in the type of task you're doing for a particular period of time until it clocks out. Sometimes it naturally does that. And at that point, then you might consider changing tasks to something that's completely different. But while you're in the flow state, and I'm like, okay, cool, I've gotten up, I've started doing my taxes and stuff. Now is a good time to do my invoices as well, because I'm already in that flow. Let's not leave it till later on when I'm actually in the creative mode and realize, oh, I haven't sent that yet, and have to snap out of creative mode to start doing something that I may not enjoy, right? And the bonus one, actually, I know I said 3, but number 4, a step for you to create more time is to make the leverage, it's called leveraging, is in the same way as a lever works, is looking at input and output. How can I reduce my input and increase the output? And one of the ways you can do that is make more money with what you're doing already. So for example, if I'm teaching a class and I teach it to kids in my local community, that's great. But there might be an hour in my day where I might teach the same class, the same thing. But if I'm teaching it to a corporate world, instead of paying, getting £50 for that hour, I might be able to have £5,000 or £500 for that hour in that same period of time. And that's how leveraging works. So just to recap on 3 steps you can have to create more time in your day as a creative. Number 1 is mapping, planning ahead to make sure you organize things well. Number 2 is stacking, putting different tasks together so that you're doing multiple things at the same time. Number 3 is batching. Anything that is done with a similar kind of task, put those tasks together into a particular period of time. It might be mornings for admin, for example. And then number 4, which is the bonus, is leveraging. What can you do which has a greater impact for the same amount of time? And that might mean changing your client base, it might be changing your location, whatever it might be, but finding a way to leverage that. If you have any other ideas of how to create more time in your day, put them in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe.